Masipnayang araw grade 9 students, I will be discussing in this video the triangle midline theorem. In this lesson, you are expected to state the definition and prove the triangle midline theorem and solve problems involving midline theorem. Let's have first the pretest. Read the question or statement carefully and identify what is being asked. Write only the letter of the correct answer on your paper. Number 1. What do you call the segment that joins the midpoints of the sides of a triangle? Number 2. What theorem states that the segment that joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half as long? Number 3. How long is the midline of triangle if the third side, which is parallel to it, measures 32 centimeters? Number 4. Find the length of the third side of a triangle if its midline measures 24 meters. And number 5. Given triangle DOG with ML at its midline, find the value of x. These are the correct answers. Before we proceed to the lesson proper, let's have first the recap. Draw a line that connects the math word from column A to its corresponding definition in column B. And these are the correct answers. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which two pairs of opposite sides are parallel. Parallel lines are two or more coplanar lines that never intersect. CPCTC means corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Midpoint means the point on the line that divides the same segment into two congruent parts. SAS congruence postulate states that if two sides and the included angle of one triangle are equal to the corresponding sides and included angle of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. With these concepts, we are now ready to discuss the main lesson for today, the triangle midline theorem. In Barangay Sumilang, there are three main roads that form a triangle. These are the Dr. Garcia Street, E. Jacinto Street, and Lopez Haina Street. There is a fourth road, Taquila Street, and it intersects Dr. Garcia Street and E. Jacinto Street at their respective midpoints. In mathematics, or in geometry in particular, there is a certain theorem that relates these roads. That is, the triangle midline theorem. In a triangle, a segment can be formed by joining the midpoints of any of its two sides. This segment is called the midline or mid-segment of the triangle. In the roads in Barangay Sumilang, can you identify which one represents the midline? Very good! Taquila Street represents the midline. What about the roads that the midline intersect at their respective midpoints? These two roads are Dr. Garcia Street and E. Jacinto Street. The triangle midline theorem states that the segment that joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half as long. Suppose we have triangle ABC. A segment ML cuts side AB and side BC at their respective midpoints. The triangle midline theorem states that the midline ML is parallel to third side AC, or ML is parallel to AC, and the length of ML is equal to 1/2 of AC. In the roads of Barangay Sumilang, what road is parallel to Daquila Street? Excellent! The road that is parallel to Daquila Street is Lopez Haina Street. Now, if the length of Lopez Haina Street bounded by its intersections with Dr. Garcia Street and E. Jacinto Street is 1 kilometer, what do you think is the length of Daquila Street? I hope you will get the answer at the end of this lesson. Let's proceed to the proof of the triangle midline theorem. To prove the triangle midline theorem, a two-column proof can be used. Study the proof and try to fill in the missing reasons to justify the given statements. You can refer your answer from the given box. And this is the two-column proof. Given triangle MLN in which I and D are the midpoints of side ML and MN respectively. First statement is I is the midpoint of ML and D is the midpoint of MN, and that is given. Number 2, by construction, extend ID until E such that ID is equal to DE. Third statement, segment MD is congruent to segment DN, and the corresponding reason for this is the definition of midpoint. Next, angle MDI is congruent to angle NDE by vertical angle theorem. And given the previous statements, we can now say that triangle MDI is congruent to triangle NDE by SAS congruence postulate. Since triangle MDI is congruent to triangle NDE, we can say that MI is congruent to NE by CPCTC. Next, MI is congruent to IL, and that is the definition of midpoint. IL is congruent to EN by transitive property of segment congruence. Angle IMD is congruent to angle END, in which IL is parallel to EN, and that is the converse of the alternate interior angles theorem. Quadrilateral ILNE is a parallelogram, and that is the definition of parallelogram. Since there is a form parallelogram, we can now say that IE is parallel to LN, and that is opposite sides of a parallelogram are parallel. IE is equal to ID plus DE, and that is the definition of betweenness. ID plus DE is equal to 2ID, and that is substitution from statement number 2 and statement number 12. IE is equal to twice ID, and that is transitive property. Next, IE is equal to LN, and that is because opposite side of a parallelogram are congruent. By substitution from statement number 14 and statement number 15, we can now say that twice ID is equal to LN. Thus, ID is equal to 1/2 of LN, and that is by multiplication property of equality. This is the proof of the triangle midline theorem. Let's have some illustrative examples. Given triangle PSG, AI cuts side PS and side GS at their respective midpoints. Problem number 1. If AI is equal to 48 centimeters, find PG. Using the triangle midline theorem, we can have AI is equal to 1/2 of PG. Substituting the given details, we can have 48 is equal to 1/2 of PG. And solving for the length of PG, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by 2. This can be simplified further as 96 is equal to PG. And the final answer is PG is equal to 96 centimeters. If PG is equal to 2x plus 8 and AI is equal to 11, what is x? Again, by the triangle midline theorem, we can have AI is equal to 1/2 of PG. Substituting the given details, we can have 11 is equal to 1/2 times the quantity of 2x plus 8. To simplify this further, we need to multiply both sides by 2. And the result will be 14 is equal to 2x. And applying multiplication property of equality, we can have x is equal to 7. Problem number 3. If AI is equal to 3x minus 4 and PG is equal to 5x plus 1, find x. With the triangle midline theorem, we have AI is equal to 1/2 of PG, and substituting the given details, we can have 3x minus 4 is equal to 1/2 times the quantity of 5x plus 1. To simplify this further, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by 2, which can be simplified further as 6x minus 8 is equal to 5x plus 1. And the final answer is x is equal to 9. Let's try to solve word problems involving triangle midline theorem. In triangle CVD, O is the midpoint of CV and I is the midpoint of DV. If OI is equal to the quantity of 5x minus 9 centimeters and CD is equal to 62 centimeters, what is the value of x? In order for us to have a clear view of the problem, we need to sketch an illustration of the situation and indicate the specified details. The illustration looks like this. As for the solution, applying the triangle midline theorem, we can have OI is equal to 1/2 of CD. Substituting the given details, we can have 5x minus 9 is equal to 1/2 of 62. This can be simplified further as 5x is equal to 40. Applying multiplication property of equality, the final answer is x is equal to 8. Word problem number 2. 3 major highways in Quezon City form a triangle: Mother Ignacia Avenue, Timog Avenue, and Sergeant Esguerra Avenue. Mother Ignacia Avenue and Sergeant Esguerra Avenue are cut by Scout Bayuran Street at their respective midpoints, and it has a length of a quantity of 7x squared plus 50 meters. If Timog Avenue measures 15x squared meters, what is the value of x? And the next question is, find the exact length in meters along Timog Avenue from its intersection with Mother Ignacia Avenue to its intersection with Sergeant Esguerra Avenue. The triangle or the figure formed by these roads looks like this. To solve this problem, we can assign capital letters to the vertices of the triangle and also capital letters to the midpoints. Based from the illustration, we have BD is equal to the quantity of 7x squared plus 50 meters and AE is equal to 15x squared meters. We are required to solve for x and for the length of AE. Using the triangle midline theorem, we have BD is equal to 1/2 of AE. Substituting the given details, we can have 7x squared plus 50 is equal to 1/2 of 15x squared. To simplify further, we multiply both sides of the equation by 2. This is further simplified as x squared is equal to 100. To solve for x, get the square root of both sides of the equation. The square root of x squared is equal to square root of 100. And the final answer is x equals 10. That solves one of the required in the problem. Now, to solve for the length of AE, if x is equal to 10, then AE or the length of Timog Avenue is equal to 15 times 10 squared, that is equal to 1,500 meters. Therefore, the length along Timog Avenue from its intersection with Mother Ignacia Avenue to its intersection with Sergeant Esguerra Avenue is 1,500 meters. Let's wrap up today's lesson. Remember that the triangle midline theorem states that the segment that joins the midpoint of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half as long. In triangle ABC, in which ML cuts BA and BC at their midpoints, the triangle midline theorem states that ML is parallel to AZ and the length of ML is half the length of AC. For the valuing, draw a big triangle in a clean sheet of paper and use a ruler to get the midpoints of two sides. Connect the midpoints to form the midline of the triangle. Below the midline, write the best 3 skills and 3 best positive attitudes you believe you possess. Above the midline, write the 3 life goals you want to achieve in 3 years. Below the triangle, write a short essay on how you will achieve your 3 life goals using your best skills and positive attitudes. Name your output as my first 3-year plan. Now let's have the post-test. Read each question carefully and identify what is being asked. Write only the letter of the correct answer in your paper. These are the correct answers for the post-test. Let's proceed to the activities. These are the answers for Activity 1. These are the answers for Activity 2. These are the answers for Activity 3.